Hi there, I'm Garrett Ryan, the Toll and Stone guy, and today, to mark the publication of my new book, Naked Statues, Fat Gladiators, and War Elephants, I'm going to answer a few of your questions. So our first question here is, how did you develop your interest in the ancient world? To be honest, I can't recall a time I wasn't interested. I went to Rome for the first time when I was 14, and the impression that city made was really powerful. In some ways I've never gotten over, I think, that first impression of Rome. Seeing history so tangible, so layered, so real, was heady stuff. I was fortunate in going to one of the few high schools in Illinois that still had a Latin program. That also helped quite a bit, as did a healthy fascination with the old PC game Rome Total War. And all of that guided me towards a college career in the classics. I majored in classical languages, spent a semester in Rome, and at that point was pretty much primed and ready to go on to a PhD in the classics and a lifetime spent studying ancient history. Our next question is, what's your favorite chapter of your book and why? If I had to pick one, it would probably be chapter 18. Did they believe in ghosts, monsters, and or aliens? I encountered so many weird and wonderful anecdotes when researching that one. Enormous amount of fun. Everything from the murderous ghost of Achilles, to the pickled merman of Tangara, to the fanged tyrant of the Ganges. Read the book, of course, for more. Next question. Where'd you get all the information in your book? Researching naked statues was a labor of love, but labor regardless. I usually started with reference books, the Oxford Classical Dictionary, the old Pauli Encyclopedia, and I would follow the references in the bibliographies of their articles, read those, and find the primary sources. This is where all the good stuff is, all the juicy bits. Often the process took quite a while. I guess I read on average 300 or 400 pages for every page I wrote. But it was worth it, because you find all these wonderful anecdotes and details, many of which surfaced in the footnotes of the finished book. Do you have a favorite fun fact about the Greeks or Romans? Oh, there are so many. Just to give you a few examples, when I was researching the first chapter in my book, which is Why Didn't the Greeks or Romans Wear Pants?, I discovered, among many other fun facts, that the Greeks often kept small coins in their mouths, since their tunics lacked pockets, that Nero once set up a sting operation to capture merchants who were dealing in illegal purple dye, and that pants were repeatedly banned from the city of Rome on pain of eternal banishment. And those, of course, are just a few islands among a sea of fun facts, much more in the book. If you could meet any person from the classical world, who would it be? On the Greek side, my first impulse would be Plato, to be honest, but I don't think he'd be terribly fun to talk to, so I'd probably go with Herodotus. Herodotus is the author of the Histories, often called the father of history, and he tells the story of the Persian Wars, but he weaves that story into this wonderful tapestry of facts, fables, folklore, you name it, from every corner of the world known to the Greeks. I think he'd be a fascinating conversationalist, and probably just a lot of fun to hang out with. On the Roman side, I'd probably go with Julius Caesar. Not a very original choice, I'll admit, but I think he's the most intriguing person in Roman history, and someone who could talk about everything from military strategy to Gallic ethnography to the Latin language itself. Just, I think, a very engaging and fascinating conversationalist. Do you enjoy historical fiction? What would you recommend? I do enjoy it. For me, the gold standard of historical fiction set in the classical world is Marguerite Yourcenar's Memoirs of Hadrian. It's a wonderfully thought-provoking, often poetic book, which I think captures very well the personality and world of the most enigmatic Roman emperor. Robert Graves' I, Claudius doesn't have the same depth, but it's a very engaging book, a lot of fun, well-researched, and I have a soft spot in my heart for the old BBC miniseries that's based on it. So there's many more recent books, of course, but I think it's best to start with those classics. Are you interested in other historical periods besides classical antiquity? Oh yes, many others. I've always been fascinated by American history. You can see the bookshelves behind me, actually. About half of those books are American history. I also am deeply intrigued by early imperial China. I taught a class in Michigan once actually called Roman China that compared the Roman and Han Chinese empires on various bases. I hope actually to eventually make some of my other interests part of the channel at Told in Stone, so stay tuned. What's next now that your book's done? Well, on YouTube, I plan to keep releasing videos every Friday and sometimes on Tuesday as well. I have a few new series planned that I think will intrigue anybody interested in Roman history, so stay tuned. On the literary side of things, I'm thinking about a sequel to Naked Statues, and possibly also about a travel book. So we'll see what the future holds. I could go on, of course, but lest I wear out both my welcome and my camera battery, I'll just stop here and say thank you. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your time. Thanks for your support. Thanks for everything you do that makes what I do possible. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And with that, Kyrie, Wale, and good night.